I honestly do not have much to say. It's partly because my voice is something wrong with it. And so you'll pardon me for that. You know, around, I think around 2000, we decided in government, we decided to establish an advisory panel on ICTs. I paid an official visit to the US, 2000, and thought we'd take advantage of that to talk to some of the big corporate chiefs in this field, Microsoft, everybody else. And so when I went to meet one of these big chiefs, and I said to him, we were setting up this advisory panel, and we'd like you to be a member. And he said to me, what should we advise you about? So I said to him, my problem is that I don't know enough about what I don't know. So I can't even answer the question, what you should advise me about. And that was a genuine response. Because truly, as government at that level, we did not know what these information and communication technologies were. And therefore, when you talked about applications, to people who were ignorant, they were incapable of imagining application. I remember one of the sessions that we had with them. They talked about Wi-Fi. So we, the South African delegation, government, so we're stealing a look at one another. Because we honestly didn't know what this Wi-Fi is. And we're speaking very eloquently about the importance of Wi-Fi and this and that, and this is what it will do, etc. Now, the reason I'm saying all of this is because it's obvious that among us here we have gurus in this area of the fourth industrial revolution and education. And two of them is, they're sitting there, Sonqoba and Sam. And there are others, as I was listening. But to tell you the truth, a lot of what you said flew over my head. I didn't understand it. We clap out of as a courtesy. As a courtesy, so, because otherwise it would look funny. But certainly, I'm one of the people here who has learned something today. But I'm quite sure not as much as I could have if I had been better prepared. Now, I think it is obvious that the technological change represented by this thing, the fourth industrial revolution, is happening, will happen. We can't stop it. It'll impact on our lives. We may overestimate, or underestimate, whatever, but it will do that. It's something that can be avoided. But there's a fundamental question that arose tonight. How prepared is this society to respond to that reality which is here already, will continue coming. How prepared are we? And I don't think we are. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg is a very educated man. Professor Marwala. He writes books, and he always likes giving me signed copies. He is my friend. He's my friend. So we have titles like this. Artificial Intelligence and the Solution of Economic Forecasting. I open the book. I can't go beyond the first paragraph. I don't understand. Now, and Professor Marwala is insisting, and I agree with him, that it's important that the South African universities, all of them, should teach the fourth industrial revolution. Because it's there and it's coming. Now, in the end, I want to make a suggestion. You see, I think we would have wasted a lot of talent if we don't come with some decision out of here about this question. Because it's a real, practical challenge that's facing us as a country. Is it possible for us that we get those of us who are skilled, knowledgeable, to say, why don't we get together and prepare a 20-page document about what we need to do, what this country needs to do in order to respond to this particular challenge of the fourth industrial revolution and education. Just to give you a small practical example of what might happen if we do that. You know, I'm a Chancellor of the University of South Africa. I agreed to do that thing because I knew that all you do is to hand out certificates. But the University Council has a bit of a different view about what the responsibilities of a chancellor are. The biggest college, the university has got 8 colleges. The biggest college is the College of Education, which produces almost 50% of the new teachers in this country. It's very big. Now because I'm chancellor, I can convene any meeting of the university anytime. And I would like to be able to say to the College of Education, here is thinking about how to teach, how to train teachers to do what, how they should teach. How do you produce this child who's a problem solver? And I would like to do that and talk to this college, which produces almost 50% of the new teachers in South Africa. But if you ask me to do that on Monday, what would I say to them? I'm suggesting really seriously that maybe under the leadership of the big chef here, certainly Max Pokona here from the Thabo Mbeki Foundation would help. Why don't a few of us get together and really seriously put together something, a proposal, so that this country can respond practically to this challenge? I think we should do that. I think we should agree to do that. It's important. I'm not very popular among some people in the country, which is okay. Because we have a national development plan. And I keep saying, it is not a plan. It's a vision. And so when people say, now, why are we not implementing? We're not implementing because there's no plan. There's a vision. Vision might very well be very good, very correct. But how do we get to produce what is contained in this vision? How do we get to deal with education for the Industrial Revolution in the manner that we're talking, in a way that actually produces results? So to do a plan of action on this area, which must take into account the fact that Thabo Mbeki is absolutely ignorant. But you want him on board with regard to this matter, so you got to find a way of taking him on board, and therefore not speaking above his head and obliging him to clap out of courtesy. I think it's also important in this context that, as all of us know, we've got too many crises. I don't know where you would look in South Africa where you would not find crisis. And we just look at the levels and the types of crime. There's something that's gone wrong in the community. Loss of respect for the law, loss of respect for lives, for women. Something that's fundamentally wrong. Now, I'm saying you'd find that right across the board. So we are all facing these emergencies and crises every day, which therefore reduces everything to the same common denominator. This area we're talking about, the fourth industrial revolution and education, is critically important. We need to present it in a way such that it's actionable, and it's not just an area around which to make eloquent speeches. It's actionable, because otherwise my attention is drawn to too many other problems in the country. So let me tell you the last story before I sit down. There was a very, many years ago, a member of, minister in government of Tanzania. And he used to tell a story. In all of the liberation movements in this region, Southern Africa were all there in Tanzania. The Mozambicans and Frelimo, the MPLA from Angola, the ANC and all that. So the minister would say, one day, we, the government of Tanzania, told Frelimo that there's some Portuguese mercenaries who've arrived here in Tanzania to kill you people. So he would say, Frelimo would say, where are they? And would tell them that's where they are. Frelimo would say, we will act and go and deal with them. Then on another day, some mercenaries from apartheid South Africa came. So we went and reported to the ANC. Some mercenaries from South Africa were here to get you. Where are they? There they are. And the ANC said, well, now let's call a conference to go and discuss this matter. I think it's a bit of a national disease. We like talking about these issues. This is what ought to happen, should happen, da. I think we need to get beyond this stage of calling conferences and symposia. And I have not discussed this with President Ramaphosa, but I will do it. Normally when the Parliament meets for the State of the Nation address, the presiding officers invite us to come as their guests. So I was at the State of the Nation address earlier this year. And President Ramaphosa, you remember, had been newly elected and delivered the State of the Address. And he said, some of the things he said, we've got a serious problem of unemployment, and therefore we're going to call a job summit. We've got a serious problem of low levels of investment in the economy. Therefore, we're going to call an investment conference. Oh, I was sitting there listening. Conference, I said, typical South Africa. I think let's go beyond this. And coming out of this engagement we've had today, really do this thing of producing something actionable so that we do indeed become part of this industrial revolution forth and have this impact we're talking about on education, which obviously would become a very major driver in terms of the transformation of the society in the direction that we want. That's the critical importance of the topic. I must also say to the youth about buying bricks. We decided to set up this library because many people are saying, for instance, I get this query all the time. When are we going to get your memoirs? Because we want to read about what happened. I say, sure, you will get the memoirs. But in the meantime, let's put together this information. I can tell you, for instance, some of the information that will be there deals with the responses of the government from 94 to the financial challenges that we faced. Minister of Finance, how do you manage a rand? There was those old things, commercial and financial rand. What do you do about all this? Budget deficits, exchange rates. People were dodging taxes. You got a very detailed record of this. And I'm quite sure if anybody goes through that record, they will find that it'll help them to solve our financial problems 20 years hence. So it's important to understand the nature of what would be in this library of this kind. that it has to be an instrument to help to change South Africa for the better. Not just to say, oh, I went to that library, I read something, oh, what a lovely story. But it must be an instrument for change. A place where, for instance, the young people must come and say, how do we respond to our today's challenges? And maybe what is it that we can draw on from the past, which might help us to answer the question we're posing to ourselves now. It's an important project. It must succeed, we think. And I really wanted to say congratulations to the youth for taking a job of contributing so that this thing, they also feel a sense of ownership. But in the end, thank you very much to our presenters, and apologies for the incident in the lift, but we did our best to keep ourselves busy. But thanks for everything you've done, and thanks to the chefs.